Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today I have some new stamps and some returning stamps from hot off the press. And for the new ones, we have a Beautiful Day stamp with beautiful oval flowers, and also the all over script stamp, great for mixed media and making your own backgrounds. And then my favorite stamp of all time, the Watercolor Roses stamp set, sold out several years ago, and I've just been begging and begging for Paulette to bring it back and reissue this stamp, as well as the Birthday Magic stamp set, which I think was Debbie's favorite, and this one has a few new additions to it as well. So as you can see, lots of fun things to play with. Debbie and I have made some fun projects and we can't wait to show you, so come play with us. So this first card, Debbie used the Birthday Magic stamp set, and she did the little birthday cake and did the whole background here with Swirls Upon Twirls paper pack from hot off the press. It's brand new, and she took the colors from that and decorated her cake and her present and even flowers and matching balloons and the greeting, and matted the whole thing with gold sparkle holographic paper, so it's very sparkly, very fun. And then here's another card that Debbie made, also using the same Birthday Magic stamp set. For this one, she stamped her focals and then colored them with the Tri-Blend markers. If you haven't tried those, we love those. They're our faves. So, oops, got some sticky tape on me. So anyway, she also created the beautiful rainbow effect background using the all over script stamp. So I'm going to show you how to do that right here. She used some very highly pigmented ink. Let me see here. The purple, the blue, the red, and then the yellow and the green. Okay, those are Cat IQs. They're very highly pigmented, which means that the ink stays wet longer, and therefore when she stamped that pretty rainbow color, she was then able to go back and sprinkle on some clear gloss embossing powder, and that sort of gave everything this really glossy look, and also it has a texture, it has a raised texture. So let's check this out. So first of all, for the top, she used purple. Okay. And then she used the dark blue. And then the green. Use the darker shade here. And then the yellow. Oops. And then orange. Good test to see if you know all the colors of the rainbow. And then the bright red. Okay. There we go. So now we're going to go ahead. Oh, isn't that pretty? And we're going to give that a good press. What's great about using the MISTI is that if we miss some areas, we can always go back and ink it again. Go. Looks good. There's some space right here on the navy blue that I'm not too happy with it, so I'm going to darken that up a little bit. Go. Let's try some more red though. I want this to really pop. There we go. Oh yeah, I like that better. All right, so while this has still got a nice wetness to it, tackiness, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take our craft sheet. We're going to sprinkle the clear embossing powder Oh yeah, I like how that adhered. That's nice. Okay. Now I'm going to take the time to return this to my jar so it is not all over my table and all over the rest of our projects. Okay. Woo! Still got it all over the table. That's okay. Gonna go for some cleanup wipes here. There. Wasn't so bad. So now we're going to put this back and we're going to take our heat gun, turn that on high. Okay, so if we can zoom in a little bit, Steve, we can see that as it's going from sort of a cloudy look to a dark look, you can see that the clear embossing powder is melting into the ink there, and it's just really getting much more vibrant. I think I'm just going to go straight down so we can get a good look at the color here. Okay, I won't take the time to do the whole thing. There, so you can see how pretty that is, and as you can see the gloss on those letters as well. All right, so let's do another card here. Debbie used the script as well. Oops, everybody, still so messy. I feel gritty stuff everywhere. Here she stamped on acetate. There we go. See, and for stamping on acetate, because you're stamping on plastic, you want to make sure that you're using a really good permanent ink. This one is Finesse Spectrum Noir. This is a waterproof dye ink, and the reason that it's called waterproof dye ink is that you can use it with watercolors, and it's not a water-based ink, so it won't bleed into the watercolor, and that's why it's permanent, and it's great to use on plastic as well. And you can also use StazOn. That is a great one to use. So let's take a look at this card. This is one that I used script greeting as my background, but I also used the A Beautiful Day stamp, and I'm going to show you how I did some coloring with this using the tri-blend markers. And I've already started here, so we'll go ahead and continue coloring. So to make the banners, what I did is I wanted to pick up this tan cardstock. So I started off by taking the darkest shade. This is gold brown blend rather. It is one of my favorite color blends. I use this one a lot. So I'm doing the dark on each end. Go. And then you go to the middle or the mid-range pen, all right together here, which I love. No searching for the other pen that would match the first one. And then I'm going to go across the top and bottom edge. Those right there. As you can see on this one, it's darker on the outsides and then it gets lighter towards the center. So I'm going to go ahead and start with and just bring that mid color all the way up to the letter. And I just go right into the darker color with the lighter color. Just blend it right in there. You're almost pulling that darker color into that lighter color. That's how I imagine it's working anyway. Okay, now we got to just kind of fill in around our little letter. Okay, and then for the letters, I used Coral Blend, and I like to use the darkest one. So I'm going to use darkest at the bottom of the letter. And I'm going to go to the lightest color, oh come on, towards the top of the letter. And I'm just going to blend those two together so it's sort of got a variegated look to that. Right, and so let's color a flower. I've already done one here. So let's do this one with the yellow. Got the coral center. I'm doing a little bit of dark coral there. And then I'm going to switch to the yellow. This is the light yellow blend. I'm going to go to the dark one. And all around the base of my flower's petals, we're going to do that dark color. And then we're going to go to the medium color, the mid, and just take that to the top. Okay, and then going just right into the other color, the coral, and bringing that out as well. Just kind of blending that coral in a little bit. And then for the little leaves, this is my favorite dull green, my favorite color green. I don't know, you ever just have green or colors that you just return to again and again. So I'm taking the lightest color of the dull green to do the little petals, little leaves rather, under that little flower. And for the other flowers here, I colored those using the coral as well, and all the little scrolly pieces. And for the leaves, you can see on this one, started off with my darkest color of the dull green, and I'm going to put that at the base of the leaf. And then in the middle, I'm going to kind of go into that green and then go up the center of those little veins. And then I'm going to the lightest shade all the way up to the point. And then just returning that light shade down into that dark shade. Blending, blending, okay? So now as you can see, it has this dark down here and the light up at the top. Right, and then for the outer edges, I went to my pale pink. Here we go. So the pale pink went to the darkest one, and I did that around the outside edge, right there. And then I'll do that over here, the darkest. And then went to the mid range and just colored that in as well, dragging that darker color with it. And then went to the lightest range as I got closer to the stamped images at the center. So here you can see it's darker around the outside edge, lighter, lighter, lighter as it goes into the center. Okay, so that's how you color with those. And as you can see here, I created my own background. This is just tan cardstock from pastel cardstock. And I used the same color, brown, alcohol-proof ink, and I think it was called Pebble Brown. And I stamped my entire oval with that color, and then I stamped it again. Here's with the script. And then around the outside edges, I just used the lightest shade of pink and just did that around the tan edges. And that's just to really draw that pink color that's coming from here. Just wanted to have that sort of tan, pink, and coral color scheme going. And the ribbon is from our light pink ribbon set, and this is just sort of a nice light salmon pink. All right, so we have another card. So this one, using the watercolor roses stamped. I featured this card last week, but I wanted to bring it out and show it to you again. This uses the paper pack blooming, I always get it, is it Blooming Blossoms? I think it's Blooming Blossoms, or nope, that's not right. It's Blushing Blooms, there we go. Paper pack, it's brand new, and I still haven't committed that to memory yet. But I made, I folded the front of the card, so it started like this, and it just folded the card flap to the side to make that Z fold. And then I used the patterned paper, keeping within the color scheme of the black and the pink. And then I used a large oval die on the front, and then the smaller medium oval die on the back, so that one covered the other easily. And then I used the same pens, the tri-blend markers. I used pale pink and of course my favorite dull green to color the roses. And then added just a little silver sparklets, glitter glue around there to give me a little extra sparkle. So, but we've used the alcohol pens a lot today, so I wanted to also do one that's using the watercolor. So this particular card uses watercolor roses again, but I did this on watercolor paper. And I've already started this one. I wanted to show you how this works with watercolors. So we're gonna play a little bit. Okay, so for this particular card, I used this great set. This one is called Summer Garden, and this is from Cosmic Shimmer. So this watercolor set is one of my favorites because it's just so complete, and it's got wonderful sort of this ivory tinted green, all the way to these shades of green, to the purples, the blues, and then the sort of lavender colors. And I find that it's when this palette is used, you just can't make a mistake. And I am not a watercolorist by any means. And I forgot my, just to show you, I forgot my little water receptacle. So I'm just going to use a little spray of water here to use for my brush. But I also like, before I start to do my watercolors, I like to just mist my watercolor paper first, kind of activate that color. And the first thing we're going to do is take our little brush, wow, which is not clean, Lene. There we go. My mother would be horrified. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a light shade of purple, this lavender color. And we're just going to go ahead and just float that, adding a little bit more water, float that right onto that moistened watercolor paper. There we go. And as I said, this color palette is so forgiving. And I love that this is, if I didn't mention this before, I did emboss this image with gold. Which I love as well, because it softens the image and it kind of sort of compartmentalizes all the colors, because it's got that little bit of a raised edge. So I love that as well. All right, so there we go. So now we're going to add a little bit of darker shade right here. And we're going to go to the base of the petals. Right there. Of course, that one has too much water on it. Here we go. We'll go down here. The base of the petal, just to give a little bit of depth. And this is really the sort of my one trick for watercolors. I don't know much else about it. Right, we can do the same up here, and just, I like to do a little different colors in my roses as well. And they all just kind of blend, and it's all very forgiving. All right, so let's do a leaf. And for that, I like to start off with the lightest shade of green. Big one right here. So the lightest shade of green, and then we're going to just add a little pop of color to one side of the leaf. Oops. All right, there. Now we're going to get a darker shade, and then just go that way. Okay, there we go. So what I did with this particular card is I have this one image, and then I used a square scalloped cutting die. So I die cut the image with a square. I also used a blue shade and just went all the way around the image to give it that really nice sort of neutral blue background, like sky. And then I also painted another one and cut that one out and just foam taped it, nested it to the side. Don't want to forget the little butterfly. And then just took purple jewel, round purple jewel dazzles and just stickers, and just added those for a little bit of glitz and shine. So as you can see, you do not need to be an expert to have a card that turns out, you know, very nice. Give watercolors a try. I think you'll really like it. It's very forgiving and really fun. You do not need to be an expert. All right, so I'm looking around my table, and I think I've shown you all of my cards today. I don't want to miss anything. So thank you for joining me, and you notice we will have a money saver if you're watching us on our Webisodes page. It is on the right side of your screen. Just click on that and it'll take you to the money saver. And if you're watching us on YouTube, just check below the description, below the video in the description, and you'll see the money saver link, as well as to paperwishes.com, where you'll find more videos and lots of fun products. So thanks again for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.